My husband had a whole second family. Same name, same routine, 3 kids I never knew existed. For 11 years, I believed I was his wife. I was, but so was she. Before this story ends, you will hear the exact words he said when I showed him the evidence. You will find out how he kept it hidden for over a decade, and you will see exactly how I made sure the truth came out. This is not a story about a cheating husband. This is a story about a man who built 2 entire lives and thought no one would ever find out. He was wrong.
Daniel and I met at a conference in 2009. He was confident, sharp, and immediately interested in me. Within 6 months, he had asked me to move in with him. Within 2 years, we were married in a small ceremony on the coast. He worked in financial consulting, travelled often, explained it easily, client meetings, site visits, quarterly reviews. I never questioned it. He always came home. He always called. He always had answers. Our life was not perfect, but it was good, comfortable. Real, or so I believed. We had a house, a dog. We talked about children every few years, and always decided, not yet. He was affectionate, present when he was home. I never felt unloved. That is what made what came later so impossible to understand. Because the man I loved was also, at the exact same time, a husband and a father to a completely different family. He had registered another marriage in a different county 2 years before he met me. Same name. Different county, a loophole he had researched and calculated. His second wife was named Claire. They had 3 children, ages 9, 7 and 4. Claire did not know about me, not for 11 years, and neither did I. Daniel lived a double life with the precision of someone who had planned it that way from the beginning. He kept 2 phones, 2 sets of keys, 2 email addresses. Everything was intentional. Nothing was accidental. He had a system. And for 11 years, the system worked, until the summer of 2021, when something very small made me look twice. If I had known then what I know now, I would have looked sooner. It started with a receipt, a hotel receipt in a city he told me he had never visited. I told myself it was a mistake.
A billing error. That's what he said when I showed him. His explanation was smooth. Too smooth, the way only a practiced liar can be. I let it go, but something in me held on to it. 3 weeks later, a name in his contacts I did not recognise. Not saved as a colleague, not a client name, just a single letter. C. When I asked, he said it was a colleague whose name he always misspelled, so he shortened it. I nodded. I moved on. But I started paying attention in a different way. I noticed he always stepped outside to take certain calls, always the same days, Tuesday and Thursday evenings. I noticed his work travel was always to the same 2 cities, never anywhere new. I noticed that on those trips he never FaceTimed, only called. Individually, none of it meant anything. Together, it was a pattern I could no longer ignore. In October 2021, I hired a private investigator. I told no one. I gave him Daniel's schedule, the cities, the dates, and I waited. 3 weeks later, my investigator sent me a folder. Inside was a photograph of Daniel, walking out of a house, a different house in a different city. He was holding a child's hand. Behind them, a woman, blonde, in a floral blouse, standing in the doorway. She was smiling at him the way I used to smile at him. The folder contained 18 photographs, a second address, and a marriage certificate. His name, her name, the county where they had married, 8 months before he proposed to me. He had not strayed into a second family. He had built one, deliberately, before he ever met me. I was not the victim of a man who lost control. I was a choice, a calculated addition. I sat with that knowledge for 4 days before I moved. 4 days of watching him make coffee, kiss me goodbye, call me from the road. 4 days of asking myself, do I call Claire first? Do I confront him first? Do I go to the police? I decided I needed to know the full picture before anything else. My investigator found more. The children's school records listed under Daniel's name, a shared bank account, a joint mortgage, an entire infrastructure of a second life. He had divided his salary into 2 accounts, managed 2 families' expenses for 11 years. This was not passion, this was project management. I found out that Claire's children called him Dad every single day, and I found out that he told those children their father worked away often, that it was normal. He had normalised his absence in both homes, given both families a reason to miss him without questioning it.
When I finally had everything I needed, I called Claire. She picked up on the second ring, and I said, "My name is Sarah. I think we need to talk about Daniel." Claire went silent for a very long time. Then she said, "What do you mean? Daniel, your husband?" I told her yes. I told her the date of our marriage. I told her the county. I told her where we lived. Claire said, "He told me he had no family, that he was an only child, that his parents were gone." He had told me the same thing. A dead family, clean, no one to contradict him. We agreed to meet in person. 2 days later, Claire drove to my city. We sat across from each other, both of us Daniel's wife, and laid everything out on the table. His stories matched in every detail that mattered, and they contradicted in every detail that proved what he was. We decided together. We would not warn him. We would confront him, together. The following Saturday, Daniel arrived home from a supposed work trip. I was waiting in the living room. He opened the door, dropped his bag and said, "Hey, you okay? You look tired." I said, "Sit down, Daniel. There is someone who wants to say hello." Claire stepped out from the hallway, and Daniel's face, I will never forget it. He went white. He said nothing for 11 seconds. I counted. Then he said, "I can explain this." Those were his first words. "I can explain this." Claire looked at him and said, "Don't. Just that one word. Don't." He tried 3 more times, 3 different versions of the same explanation that explained nothing. I placed the folder on the coffee table. Every photograph, every document, every date. He looked at it. Then he sat down. And he said nothing else for the rest of the night. Daniel left that night. He never came back to that house. The following Monday, I contacted a solicitor. Claire did the same. Bigamy is a criminal offence. Daniel was reported to the police within the week. He was charged. He did not contest it. My marriage was annulled. 11 years, legally erased. Claire's marriage, the legal one, remained. She had the harder task of rebuilding with 3 children who still loved their father. Claire and I, 2 strangers brought together by the worst possible circumstance, stayed in contact. We are not friends in the ordinary sense, but we are the only 2 people on earth who know exactly what the other went through. What I lost was 11 years. What I gained was the truth, and the knowledge that I am not as easily broken as he believed. People ask me if I was angry. I was. But anger was never the loudest thing. The loudest thing was grief. For the life I thought I had. For the man I thought I married. He was not that man. He was never that man. And somehow, that is the hardest part to accept. Daniel was convicted of bigamy. He received a suspended sentence and a fine. Many people feel that was not enough. Some days, I agree. But I am here. I built something real on the ruins of the lie. That is not nothing. The thing about a man who builds 2 lives is that he knows how to make both feel real. That is not a love story gone wrong. That is something colder and more deliberate, and it has a name: deception. Have you ever trusted someone completely, only to find out you never truly knew them at all? Tell me your story in the comments below.